Hey guys, welcome back to another Caff cast. We're here to check out the brand new XCOM expansion, XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. I'm joined here by Jake.
Yes.
How you doing, man? You good?
I'm good.
Fantastic.
I'm excited to be here.
He's from Firaxis, and he's going to basically explain to us what is new, what we're going to get a chance to check out today, and also we get a chance to have a sneak peek of the actual game itself and get a chance to actually play it, which is super exciting. So I guess I'm just going to jump straight into the bridge and just get going.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. So this is obviously a little sort of session that we've got kind of like pre-planned here. So what are we actually looking at in terms of content right now?
Okay, so what's going to happen is once we move time forward a little bit, we're going to get to see a new mission that's in the expansion.
Okay, fantastic.
And it'll be sort of kicked off with a cinematic.
Oh, it's going to push us in straight away.
Right.
Fantastic.
The skirmishers are Advent. Advent is the enemy. The enemy is food.
Try not to bring that up when we meet, Volk.
You take their side after all we've seen these years.
Look, I'm not exactly having drinks with them, but they did hold up their end of the bargain. What about you?
Wait and see. Volk out.
Actually think they might show up. Commander, that was Konstantin Volokov, Volk to his friends. He and his Reapers are a big part of the reason why you're standing here today. Volk may be a little rough around the edges, but he's the real deal. Heads one of 3 resistance groups operating independently from us that we consider a legitimate threat to Advent. Together, they'd make one hell of a fighting force. Too bad they hate each other. Still, we've made some unlikely progress. Volk's Reapers may have found you, but they weren't acting alone. They were tipped off by a group of Advent defectors known as the Skirmishers. No one's big on working with these guys, knowing where they came from. But you wouldn't be here without their help. Both the Reapers and the Skirmishers have agreed to suspend hostilities provided you serve as the go-between. Trust doesn't come easy between these two, so we're heading for a nice, quiet spot on neutral ground. Even so, let's not take any chances. Intel on this area is weak, and we're picking up strange chatter on comms. Not to mention we're ending a decade-long blood feud today. I'd advise our soldiers to be fully prepared before we deploy on this one, Commander. Good luck.
Holy crap, wow, that sounds awesome. So we're going straight into Meet the Reapers then?
That's right. We're going to meet
Fantastic.
the Reapers and the Skirmishers. We're actually serving, this is the mission that's actually going to bring the 2 squads together. So you'll actually have time with the Reapers and have time with the Skirmishers, then you sort of meet up in the middle.
And we'll get a cheeky scientist if we win as
Yes,
well, which is
you
good
do.
news. That's always good. Got to get them scientists. Sweet, okay. Well, let's jump in then. So in terms of timeline then, I won't spoil things too much for you guys if you haven't completed XCOM 2 with us, but there are videos on the channel and on the live stream VODs as well if you want to check out some XCOM 2 that we have done in the past. Where does this sit in is it like an alternate timeline, or is it like
Yeah, it's
before
kind
or
of like an
after?
alternate timeline.
Right,
so
okay.
it'll basically, it goes over the top of all the content that's already there. And so
Right.
in this mission, you're actually bringing 2 different squads, because one's going to start at one end of the city with the Reaper, one's going to start at the other with the Skirmisher, and so you're actually going to be playing 2 of these different small squads.
So this is the first sort of new feature we're talking about then, is dual squads then. You have
Yeah.
separate squads dropping at different locations.
That's right, and in fact, we have a bunch of new things where some of our missions now, they'll be dynamic, it'll change your squad size and things like that, called sit reps. So
Oh, fantastic. Okay. We did a bit of the Long War 2 mod as well, so we've experienced like very large
squads.
Yeah, very large squads, which is a bit ridiculous. But so we're talking about sort of smaller sections that are going into different places to help make things like concealment and stuff. You can see that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's awesome. Right, okay, well, let's get started then and see how we do. So you bought a Star Trek then, so this is completely separate. Does this in any way follow the existing XCOM 2 storyline, or is it just a completely different entity?
No, it does, and it's sort of like we've added a bunch of new narrative content, but it basically slots into the XCOM 2 storyline. So you'll get the XCOM 2 story, but then you'll have all this added content.
I see.
And a lot of the new features come out in this mission, basically.
So one of the things that was in that little cutscene there was that the Reapers found us, as opposed to...
That's right. So we have a whole new intro movie. We even have a new finale movie, and so in the new introduction movie, the Reaper that we're going to meet right now, she's the one who actually found the commander's body.
Right.
And so we've tacked on a whole new introduction movie to sort of explain that at the start of the game.
Oh, fantastic. So this is, essentially, we are talking about an expansion for the base game, so you can
That's
still
right.
play the original game if you want to, but you have this on top of that as well.
Yep,
right?
that's right.
Fantastic. Right, well, let's get started with the mission then, see how we do. I'm kind of nervous because I don't want to mess things up too much. We'll see how it goes.
You can't possibly.
I know, can you believe it? Oh, man. So we got a gunner and a ranger kind of situation here.
That's right.
And then we had a sharpshooter with a specialist, didn't we, for the
I
other
believe
squad?
that's right. Yep, I believe that's right.
Fantastic. So how are we looking in terms of classes then? We've obviously got the original ones. Are there
That's
any
right.
new classes as
That's
well
right.
coming
Yeah,
in?
and we've added 3 new classes, and so the Reaper is an entirely new class. And
Right, okay.
They are all about stealth. And
Oh, I see. So those factions themselves are their own class.
all new classes.
Right. Okay.
That's right. That's
Fantastic.
right. And to get them, you sort of recruit them into your resistance movement. And here we see the Reapers. They like to eat aliens. There's our Reaper. There she is. That's Elena.
What a badass.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Dun dun dun.
There she is. Yeah, and so the Reapers, they're totally like stealth based, and so they can make attacks and still not be revealed. They don't break concealment when they make attacks necessarily.
Wow. Okay.
It actually rolls when you actually do anything. It actually rolls, and there's always an increasing chance that you can break concealment.
Okay. So you could potentially end a mission doing concealment then if you're
Absolutely.
if you're really lucky.
That's right, and they have lots of abilities that allow you to go back into concealment. They're very, very different class. That's what we did with all these classes. Are meant to feel very different from the base game classes.
And their skill set, I imagine, allows them to sort of increase the likelihood of staying in concealment.
That's right.
And maybe some items as well, like suppressors and stuff.
That's right. They've got they've got a claymore, which is a grenade they can use that doesn't reveal them. They've got lots of abilities that sort of allow them to stay concealed and make indirect attacks. So they're kind of like saboteurs and things, and marksmen that stay concealed.
I like it. That's really, really cool. One of the things that was really good about one of the classes that was in the mod, the Shinobi class, was trying to maintain that concealment.
Yeah,
so
right.
to be able to have that is going to be awesome.
There it is. That's where it sort of explains the shadow mode, which is what we call their sort of semi-permanent
Okay,
concealment.
so that's their likelihood to remain in their.
Yep.
Okay, well we'll see that as we go then. Let's start to get us into a cover here. So currently our objective is just to get our way up to the escape route. Okay.
That's right.
Well, that's nice and straightforward. So.
And don't let her die. That's the other.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I think we've met some aliens already here. Oh no, we've got something to look at.
Right, and so this is the idea is that we're going back to cities that were devastated in the first war back in back in XCOM Enemy Unknown, and so you're returning to these cities now, and we haven't been back in 20 years, and so this is the first time XCOM's gone back into these old cities.
Oh, fantastic! So we're actually going back to the first campaign content.
Yeah,
then.
that's right, and so that's why these cities they're all run down. They're
I mean, the timeline on that is there's been a long time
Yep,
since there
that's
was
right.
any of that. So we haven't got any turn timers, so I'm going to take it super easy here. I don't want to get too destroyed early on.
As you see, we've got a new enemy, which
Yeah,
we'll
the
run
Lost.
into very soon.
So that I guess we will have to let's move ourselves up to this car here. Okay,
Oh.
right.
Here we go.
So this is the Lost then.
That's right. This is the Lost. And so the idea is that the Lost are these heavily mutated humans.
Yeah.
And right now we're only seeing a couple of them, but typically what's going to happen is the Lost, they're drawn to the sound of combat. And so
Right,
and
okay.
they never stop coming. And so you'll soon be facing larger and larger swarms of these guys.
So oh well, there you go. Apparently I've broken my concealment. Did they really spot me from there? Oh no. Okay. All right. How are they in terms of their like pathfinder and stuff? Do they try to stick to cover and stuff, or are they more like a flood kind of?
Never take cover. In
Right,
fact, you
okay.
don't even when you find them, you don't have to worry about cover either because they're purely melee. So
Okay.
you can basically just walk out in the street and start blasting. Now this is a new mechanic, is the headshot.
Okay.
So with the Lost, basically, if you kill them with a shot, it's free.
Okay.
And so the way we deal with the fact that
Oh,
you're going to be
wow,
fighting
okay.
huge swarms of these guys is that you basically just have to make sure your shots are kill shots, and then you can just chain them basically forever.
Oh, that's
And so That's
awesome.
how you deal with large units.
So before in XCOM 2, the only way to really get that was to make sure that you had the item on your gun, which had a chance of allowing you to shoot again.
Right,
But
right.
here, it's a case of if you kill,
If you
get
kill,
to go again.
You get to go again.
That's
Yep.
fantastic. Okay. Well, 64% chance. Let's take the risk. It's a long-range shot with a shotgun, but it's good. We got a crit as well.
And so again, perfect. Now it's totally free, so you can just keep going.
So if I want to, I can readjust and move.
Yeah, it really becomes a game about like ammunition, you know, and making sure you're taking the right shots, making sure you can do enough damage to kill them, and so you're kind of trading off between your soldiers, saying like, I can kill that one, I can kill that one, because the worst thing that can happen basically is you miss, and then all of a sudden you've got all these lost.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I guess also this really brings into play things like free reloads and stuff like that to make sure that you can keep that kind of consistency.
That's exactly right.
So that's a lot more important now.
Yep, that's
I feel like a lot of items are going to play a lot larger role in this game.
Definitely. So here you see your chance to reveal is 50%. So every time you take a shot, and of course that goes up.
Well, let's see if we can remain concealed. Oh, we missed the shot.
Oh, missed the shot.
And he's still in concealment.
And no, that's terrible.
That's not the good first hit. And that I've triggered these guys now.
Right.
They're ready to kick ass. Okay, come on. Oh, they look cool. So I really like the idea that this is kind of like, we haven't been here for a number of years, and then we've come back and we found this kind of like evolving, mutating kind of situation. So these guys, they were humans then?
They were humans.
Okay.
And they never left the cities. And so the idea is that these resistance factions, you know, they operate out of these abandoned cities, because the cool thing about the Lost actually is that they'll also fight the aliens in the Advent. They're not on their side, so you get a three-way battle going. If you're fighting Advent, you're fighting aliens, and the Lost show up, all of a sudden everybody's fighting for their lives because the Lost will go after both of you at the same time.
Right, okay, so in that example, concealment is key, because if we can remain concealed and spot them and spot the Advent as well, we can let them just deal with it.
That's right. And so the Reapers are good at that, because they can basically... Reapers, when they're in shadow mode, there is no detection radius on enemies, and their movement is 50% increased, so they can fly around a battlefield totally concealed and basically allow these two to duke it out.
I think that's one of the things that XCOM definitely needed, was a lot more variables. Yeah. And I think that you've got that now, haven't you? Which is amazing. Yeah. Let's see if we can get this on Overwatch here. Oh no, it's a miss. There's one. He's coming in. That car's gonna blow up as well.
Oh, look at that slow-mo zombie run.
Oh, it's okay. He can't actually move that far. But you say his movement increases over time?
No, that's the Reaper.
Oh, the Reaper.
If the Reaper's stealth, their movement is vastly increased.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So these guys are sort of like the is it the mutons? The faceless.
Yeah.
Where they obviously, once they have changed, they kind of have a certain amount of movement, and they can just hit you. I'm not going to let him hit me though. I'm going to try to avoid that. 93% chance for a headshot. Nice. So is that headshot mechanic where you get a free shot again? That's exclusive to the Lost?
That is exclusive to the Lost. Yep.
Okay, right. So if I'm fighting anything else, then I don't get that opportunity. Okay. So that means that those items for free additional shots do still come into play quite a lot then.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
And as you noted, like ammunition becomes way more important against the Lost now.
Yeah, hugely. And again, those items that you can get to increase your clip size, that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, that's key. Speaking of which, I mean, are there any additional items that are going to come into play for those kind of things?
Yeah, we don't have any new weapon mods. We added a bunch of different like inventory items. I mean, the goal was basically just to make the biggest expansion that we could, and so we added everything. There's enemies, of course, there's all the new soldier classes and story and levels, and there's like a new environment set, a bunch of new items. So yeah, we've got all kinds of new items that you can get by fighting a bunch of the new enemies we have.
And you can still paint everything in pink. That's kind of important. Yeah.
You can make everything
wear hot
in
pants
pink.
and
That's
stuff
right.
Still. That's good. So it does take into account
I didn't add any hot pants, unfortunately,
but
we have the hot pants we have. You know.
That'll do. That's okay. I'm happy with that. But I mean, in terms of the expansion content from Shen's Last Gift and those kind of things, that still is enabled in this expansion.
Yeah, and in fact, we actually redesigned a ton of that stuff because to make it work with all of this new content. So yeah, like the alien rulers, those. We've redesigned them to where they sort of appear in a different way. We've made the sparks, the robots that you get from from Shen's Last Gift. We made them more powerful, actually, because we just wanted them to be stronger.
Okay.
And because they don't benefit from one of the big systems that's new in the expansion pack 2 is that soldiers actually form bonds now. So yeah, so they have like compatibility, and so soldiers actually are compatible with other soldiers. It's kind of random who's compatible, and if compatible soldiers go on missions together, they actually start forming bonds, which means that they get all these bonus abilities when they're together. So you know, they're friends or lovers or whatever you want to envision them as being, basically.
So these kind of these compatibility bonuses, are they pretty like sizable bonuses? Are they pretty key to the?
Oh yeah, they're huge. And so of course, the robots, they don't get to bond with anyone. They can't feel joy.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
They haven't got that AI.
They haven't got that yet.
Data would be upset.
He would.
Right. So I think I've got these guys down. So I guess we'll just carry on trying to move up.
Yep.
I'm hoping that because I'm moving a little bit more aggressively now. So I'm hoping
what's the worst that could happen?
Well, there it is. There's the key phrase. It's okay. Just more flood guys.
That's
I can
right.
deal with that. The Lost are not going to cause me too much problems. Hopefully.
No.
Although I'm imagining that there's more than just these kind of zombie-esque chaps.
Yeah. This is sort of our introduction to them. Then you'll see soon in this mission, you'll start to see the actual swarms, and then you'll start to run into larger and larger numbers of them.
So all these kind of spores that we have on the map here, is that based on the Lost's lore? Are they kind of like controlling these kind of corpses through some kind of like spore system, or?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't go too much into it, and so the idea is that these old like pods that the enemies dropped, the aliens dropped in the first war, they sort of like spread this mist out, and the idea is that basically has mutated humans into these mindless beings, and it's interesting because they're very different than, they're not tactical creatures. They basically are they'll just run at you, and they just have numbers and numbers and numbers, and so you have to play a different game.
Yeah.
And then what'll happen is you'll be doing tactics because you're fighting aliens and Advent, and then all of a sudden you get this mindless enemy on the top of it, and just creates a really different experience.
Oh, it's really awesome. So in terms of mission prep then, when you're trying to prepare for a mission like this, do you have any inkling that when you're going in, it's going to be a mission against the Lost, or?
Yep. In fact, we've got a whole new system in the expansion pack called sit reps too, and so these are modifiers on missions, and we can modify missions in a lot of different ways, and we're just trying to make missions again add, as you said, like more variables.
Which is great. That's what we need. Yeah.
Yeah. And so sit reps can be anything from like the Lost. That's a really big sit rep. And so going into a mission, you'd see like, hey, warning, there's a sit rep, but it could also be, hey. A sit rep could be, hey, there's high explosives all over the map, and then this map would be covered in high explosives, and the AI would know to target those, you would know to target those, but you can almost not take cover without being in range of these explosives.
Sure.
And one of the sit reps was, hey, you can only take 3 people on this squad, or on this mission, and so there's just all these sit reps that just basically try to change up the gameplay in a lot of ways. But you would know the Lost are sit rep. There's even another Lost sit rep called the Horde, where there's no aliens at all. It's all just huge swarms of Lost.
Right. Okay. So it will the variables might say, the syrups might say, so that there's a chance for Lost to be here.
Well, they'll tell you for sure.
Okay, so they'll tell you there's Lost in this mission.
Yep.
But does that necessarily mean that that's the only thing in that mission, or could it be like there's Lost, but then there might be Advent as well?
Yes.
Or there
So
might be...
that's right. So there's either if there's the Lost there's going to be Advent and aliens as well. But if it says Horde, that's a sit rep where it's like it's only Lost, and there's going to be a lot of them.
Right.
So you can get both flavors of them.
Fantastic. We've got a Claymore here, a targetable environmental explosive.
Yes.
That's something I can throw in and shoot.
That's one of the Reaper's toys, and so she can, when she's concealed, she can throw that, and then either she can shoot it or her squad mates can shoot it as well.
Okay. Does her shooting that Claymore give her a roll for Shadow still? The same thing?
That's right. So it won't reveal her, and also there's a later game ability where when you score kills with the Claymore, it's called Distraction. It puts you back into Shadow.
Oh, right, okay.
And so now you can use it either as an explosive, you can use it as a way to not reveal yourself, and then later, if you gain the ability, then you can use it to put you back into Shadow mode.
Okay.
And another thing about the new classes, they have way more abilities than core game soldiers, and so and they level up totally different. They actually earn things called ability points, and you actually are purchasing abilities for the new classes, unlike the old system of just unlocking abilities.
That makes sense. Okay, so here's a situation where I've still got a room with my Reaper here. Sorry, my Ranger, and I want to shoot this Claymore.
Yep.
If I do that and kill this unit, will my Reaper gain Shadow?
Nope, because you don't have the ability yet.
Oh, right, okay, so it's a specific ability thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. But once I do have it doesn't have to be... Well, I'm saying it doesn't have to be the Reaper that does the shot. It can be anybody who does the shot to make the kill, and the Reaper will gain
You have just raised a very good question. I don't think I've ever done that.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out when we actually get the game.
We will find out.
But I think that would be quite interesting because
Yeah.
if it's the Reaper that's placing the Claymore, then will that
Right.
still get her the unlock?
Right.
We'll find out, guys. Don't worry.
You would think I'd be able to answer that question, but I think
I've been firing so many questions at you,
Right.
so I'm not surprised that one's going to stump you. It's a great expansion though. The variables for me, that's the thing, because
yeah.
especially with the I mean, I'm sure you guys know the Long War 2 ended up being like 150 missions long,
Yeah.
and that can kind of get a little bit repetitive.
Yeah,
So
that's
to
right.
have all these variables makes it just so interesting.
Yeah, and I think we feel the same way. Where okay, we've made 2 of these games, and XCOM 2 is a very big game, and we thought, we need to add a lot of things that just sort of make the game more dynamic. And what we found is that's really hard to balance. So we have these really peaks and valleys, because now we can't say for sure. We're soon going to run into probably one of the biggest additions to the game, which is the Chosen. But you have missions where you have all these different enemies. You have the Lost. You have sit reps. You have all these new dark events. You have all these new items, and it just creates these situations where you really cannot prepare the player for what it is they're going to face. And so sometimes missions are really hard, sometimes they go really easy, and so, but it creates a lot of great sort of unique dynamic experiences.
Well, the peaks and troughs, you remember, that sounds like it's... I like the idea of the unpredictability, and especially if you have sit rep, then that's great, and you have that opportunity to work out, okay, so this is happening this mission, I need to kind of plan for that as much as I can, but then, there are things that can be thrown into the mix that maybe won't make it as straightforward as that, which is really cool. Especially on missions like this, because I imagine we still have cutscene missions and we have regular missions, so we have that kind of
That's right.
unpredictability as well. Right, okay, so let's see if we can... I don't really want to just sort of walk into the open here. So I'm going to just try and play it a little bit easy. But we can get ourselves into the escape route here, which I imagine means that we're going to be moving in. We've got to get everybody in there, I guess.
I don't know what kind of player are. We definitely should have cranked the difficulty for you. That's fine, we're just showing it off.
That's all right,
We're
yeah,
just showing
exactly.
it off.
We're just showing
without
it
a scratch. Without a scratch. It's beautiful.
That's fine. I mean, we've managed to just about get there. And clear path through now. Okay.
Right, and so now the second part of the mission will trigger, and this is the part where now we're transitioning to the other small squad that's meeting with the skirmisher.
Okay.
And that's one of the other new classes in the expansion pack.
Fantastic. Okay. You've been watching the Yogscast. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Don't forget to check out all of our other videos.